What's happening, YouTube? Wild Studios here. And last week I recorded a video where, right around the time UE5.7 released, they updated the Epic Games launcher. During that update, apparently, there's an issue with opening UE4 projects, but the scope of the issue, I just covered how to work around actually getting your project open in this video, so that's what the details of this video cover. But if we go to the web, you'll see that like it's starting to light up like a Christmas tree now, where indies, developers, people in the Oculus Start all over the Wild Studios community are coming forth with like multiple issues that have happened because of this. So if you go to some of these forum posts, you'll see like there are ways to work around actually opening the project back up. So if you've created a blueprint project, you double click the U project, you're going to be presented with something like this, and I can show you that real quick. So if I come here and I double click this, you're going to get this failed to launch editor, right? If it is a C++ project and it's compiled binaries in the past, say you've already built the game, and you have a derived data cache, a save directory, intermediates, and binaries, those binaries are going to point to the engine for you. So double clicking the U project is just going to work. But the moment that you need to add another plugin, or you need to recompile, or you need to rebuild the solution for that project, it's going to break. So in that forum post, I also have the command lines, like the actual commands you would need to run to regenerate your solution properly, because otherwise that's going to fail, right? So you're not going to be able to basically call Unreal Build Tool for anything. And this came to my attention when someone tried to follow or, was watching this RTX GI for 427 plugin video that I went over. And they were like, yo, I pulled this plugin in and it's telling me it can't build without source. And the reason why is because the pointer for Unreal Engine, so if I right click this, and it's like open, where's the open with? Open with, you'll see you have UE4 editor and then you have Unreal Engine. The launcher uses this Unreal Engine pointer, and then in the executable, it understands based on the actual engine version what editor to point to. But that functionality is completely broken now. So it doesn't know. It's actually pointing all UE4 projects to UE5, and it's looking at the plugin version and going, I can't build this. Even though it may already have binaries for UE4 in it, it thinks it's the wrong version. So there are ways around that as well. There's a command line utility to actually build the binaries for a project, and then you would have to actually follow the method to hard open this through the launcher once you have the right plugin installed, and then Header Tool should, at that point, link to the proper Unreal Engine editor to use Unreal Header Tool to build your plugin. So it's a big rigmarole. This has impacted multiple people. There is a Reddit post on this with a lot of people here that have gone through this. I will say that one of the first suggestions by someone was to right click and open with and force point the U project to Unreal Engine 4 editor binary location for UE4. There is a caveat to that. If you point all your U projects to a specific UE4 editor version and you're running multiple, so say you have a 422 project and a 427 project, and you double click that 422 project, you will in place migrate it to 427, since Windows is saying open all U projects with this. If you try to open a UE5 project and you've done that, it's going to try to open UE5 in that UE427. So in that case, nothing will happen. You won't be able to see anything because you're essentially trying to downgrade a project. But in the case of opening a 422 project and 427 by accident, you're essentially in place migrating that project. And if you hit save, you've now forced yourself into a newer engine version. So I would say be careful about the state that all of this is in and working within your projects right now, because if you thought things were rough over in what feels to be Unreal Engine 4 deprecated land, things have just now gotten a lot more complicated. Another thing I want to touch on is I've had people reach out. Here's another failed to launch editor, UE4. All of them have stopped. I've linked to the other post here. But yeah, another thing is if you've run turnkey in Android setup for UE5, that usually is isolated to UE5. However, with this launcher update, if you've packaged and deployed and were actually working on an Android project in both UE427 and UE5, for whatever reason, the build process for Android now looks to the turnkey setup for UE5, and your UE4 projects will start failing to build. And that doesn't matter if you're on launcher or if you're on source, but that is what has been reported to me, and that I'm also trying to dig into to see if I can figure out how to work around that. Other reports have told me that the Swarm link for UE4 projects to build lighting has failed for them, or is giving them problems, or is becoming more corrupted to where they're having to forcefully clear out their build data and then try to rebuild their lighting. I don't know if this is a launcher only issue or if it's a source only issue. Or even if it is related to this or not, but it has been something that multiple people have reached out and said they're having issues with during the same time frame that this launcher stuff has been going on. So just so you're aware of that as well. Yeah. Anyway, all of the links to these things will be down in the description. I hope this has been helpful to some of you guys that have been struggling since around early last week or right before the UE5.7 update came out. Consider joining the Wild Studios Discord if you're on this development journey and you're in UE4, UE5, Godot, Unity, Flax Engine. Doesn't matter. We would love to have you. Awesome group of guys over there. Hit that like and subscribe button, and until next time, happy developing and toodles.